Fucking damn it. Hello, everybody. Yes, this is the last one was a flawless intro. This wasn't such a flawless intro. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? It's good to see everybody. Today's podcast is kind of it's like last week's. There's a few announcements that have happened, and there's also a few other things that we'd like to talk about. So it's just going to be chill. A lot of this being gaming related or tech related, but we will get into some other stuff later on. I hope you're all doing well. It's good to see you here, Redstone, as well as Agent Oink, even though you're here already. Anyway, we're all doing good. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the new release or the new announcement of the RTX 3000 series. We're going to maybe talk about Fallout 76 opinions and kind of go maybe into sort of how overhyped games turn out to be some of the worst. I just wanted to mention that the stream looks on my actual main streams have changed a little bit, and I want to get some opinions on that. Obviously, the people in this podcast are the ones who helped me with that. We're going to talk about the Black Ops reveal because I'm a big Black Ops fan, nobody else is, so I'm excited about this. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Chadwick Boseman, who unfortunately passed away this week, and in my opinion was definitely one of the best and sort of brightest parts of the Marvel universe. He definitely had a different take on, well, he made the whole universe special, in my opinion. He was definitely a good character. Not that the other actors aren't, but he had something, especially if you look behind the scenes. Sorry, it's such just he was such a bright soul. So yeah. Why did you put announcements, by the way, Agent Oink? Alfie? Oh, god damn it. Anyway, shall we meet these wonderful people? I think we shall.
True.
Hello, you two. How are you both doing today?
How's it going?
I'm gaming with excellent proficiency.
Okay, interesting. I don't know how to respond to that. As always, we are joined here.
You needed a host.
As always, we're joined here by our wonderful two co-hosts, Agent Oink.
Hello, sweetie.
And Delicious.
What's up?
It's good to see you back. I do apologise, this podcast is delayed a day, but I was away yesterday. It will still be back. It will still be up Thursday as normal, so no need to worry about that. But yeah.
I'd like to see this happen.
What?
I'm excited now.
What?
You getting it out tomorrow?
It will be out tomorrow, and also the video will be out tomorrow, delayed to the subs. The reason that's delayed is I literally forgot to upload it yesterday, and I didn't get enough time today. But it's getting home, I can be asked. So...
Thanks for subbing, by the way.
What?
What?
Thanks very much, Delicious, for the sub. Greatly appreciated.
What?
You're the,
You know what?
the
Sure,
latest-
let's
you're-
just move on and let's leave it at that.
You're the
That's where I
latest
want
sub. So yeah, obviously the main thing that happened this week was the RTX 3000 series was announced by Nvidia, and shortly after that, a bunch of other companies like Asus and MSI announced their version, or at least revealed their versions of their cards. What do you guys think? I've known, obviously, Agent Oink's given me some pretense on this, and he's told me that he doesn't have too much to say on it. So
I've got to be right back.
okay,
I know.
you know what? You're gonna have to pan out those three
I'll
words
explain
as
in a
long
second.
as you can, Alfie.
Well, no, I need to wait for Phelan to be back to give my opinion, really.
Okay, I mean,
I think-
he's gonna be like, but
Yeah. I think, like, in general, I've seen a lot of positive response to the launch of the 3080 series / Ampere architecture. People seem pretty hyped. There's definitely a lot of excitement, like, in the general community, right? Not just from, like, review sites and such, but just across, like, social media. I've seen a lot of people that have been pretty interested and people that have been like, I'm totally buying these and such forth, right?
yeah.
Which is good. Like, from
And
Nvidia's perspective.
honestly-
Not so good from AMD's perspective.
Yeah, and honestly, again, not good from AMD's perspective is the fact that they are very well competitively priced. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head how much a 2080 costs. I don't know if you have any rough
it's
numbers.
a bit inflated right now because of COVID and such. But I'm pretty sure a 2080 Super is normally around 650-ish.
Yeah, and the fact that the
650 to 750-ish, depending on like what OC you go for, I guess.
yeah, and the fact that Nvidia somehow come out with this next generation card, 3070, which is from retail of about 450 roughly, maybe
I think it was
475.
I think it was
It's 400. It's
was
$500. Sorry,
$499. Yeah.
that's dollars. I can't remember how many pounds. But that's, and it does. I think it's either the same or just a bit better than a 2080. So, you know, that's good to see, especially retail price. But then people have said that it's gonna make trying to sell a 20 series card a lot harder. At least you're not gonna make as much money off it.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big oof for
I
the
agree
20
with
earners.
previous statements.
We're just talking about how it's a bit of an oof if you've just bought a 20 series card.
Oh no, if you've just bought one, you're an idiot.
True.
Well,
I mean, to be fair, yeah. At the same time, I'm kind of like, I feel sorry for, like, especially if someone's just bought like a 2080 Ti, right? I feel sorry for that person deeply. At the
Yeah.
same time, I kind of am relishing in the fact that they got fucked over more than I did buying a non-super variant of an RTX card.
Fair.
Because I bought my card like a month and a half before the Supers launched, and I wish I just waited a month and a half.
mm.
But
So
yeah, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's just annoying because
Yeah.
it was a waste of my money.
the exciting part now. I want to hear your opinion, Alfie.
Okay, yeah, so we waited till you're back for then because I wanted to.
Excellent.
Make
the
sure
dog
you-
got upstairs in case
Oh,
the
okay.
viewers were wondering.
Yeah, so
Wow,
What?
that's amazing.
I'm trying to figure out how to word this. I don't personally buy a product for any form of brand loyalty.
Yep.
I currently own an NVIDIA GPU because at the time it worked out a good value to performance for what the category I was looking at and the money I was willing to spend. Turned out going to shitter in a month and a half when they released Supers out of fucking nowhere, but you know, we'll just ignore that. And that means I could be very like, if AMD releases a GPU that is principally more suited to my needs at a better price and more suited to my needs, you know, means in performance numbers and obviously specific workflows, I might be more interested in its performance in 3D applications like Blender versus a game, but you know, whatever, that's individual. I look at the thing and I look at benchmarks, I look at its scores, and I go, that's the best option for me. Now, what NVIDIA has done here is provided me with this awesome chart, the relative performance chart, where I can see that the 3070 is going to perform the same
Oh.
as the 2080 Ti for only $499.
God, I hate that chart.
But the problem with that chart is that it's a load of crap.
It shows nothing.
Okay, so whatever I said
Because-
about 10 minutes ago, completely ignore that then.
Because that chart is based on performance, right?
Mm.
At 4K
Mm.
on an i9. Okay, so before we even get into the other stuff, right? Most people aren't running 4K, and I'm not running 4K, right?
Mm.
And something you'll notice with bottlenecking is that I got better performance of my card on a 1440p monitor than I did at a 1080p, and you think, well, that doesn't make sense. That's more pixels. It's because games were actually able to use more of the card because games are really shittily efficient at using GPU sometimes, right?
Mhm.
So here's the thing. I don't run in 4K, so I probably am not going to get the same performance as 2080 Ti at 1440p, possibly. I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be the case, but that's a potential case. And second to that, I also don't have an i9, so I'm also going to be bottlenecked by CPU. And then on top of that, I believe those numbers are with DLSS on. So it's not even running at native 4K.
Mm.
So when NVIDIA can present me with an actual fucking benchmark
Yeah.
that says this card performs at this, I'm not expecting it to be the same as 2080 Ti. I'd be happy if it's 90% the 20 Ti or 110%, whatever the fuck it is. Just give me actual performance numbers. I don't care that the 3080 is 2 times the 2080. I don't give a shit. Give me an actual performance number. What's the 3080 score in R15 and R20? What's the 3080's performance in these settings in a video game that's cool right now? Give me something useful, and I will actually evaluate if $7.99 or whatever, $6.99 or whatever the fuck the price is for the 3080 is a good value. I'm glad that the price is where it is because the price genuinely seems competitive, right?
Yeah.
And I want Nvidia to get fucked over by AMD. I don't think that's going to happen for other reasons, but I would like that to happen.
Mhm.
Can I just
I
say,
think this is a good pricing point with the COVID economic situation, and just in general, it's a good way to target the console market and just to offer a lot for less money. It's a good move from Nvidia. But for the love of fucking God, give me actually useful stats about your fucking new products. I'm angry.
can I just say something quickly?
No.
I mean, it's your
Alfie,
stream,
that was
so don't
more
worry.
than 3 fucking words.
Well, I was going to sum up with like shit graphs, not happy, but then I thought I'd wrap.
I want to get that fucking on a shirt. Shit, graphs not happy.
Can commit poor Excel work.
That's beautiful. Shit, graphs not happy. Right.
In general, there's some cool shit. This launch looks interesting. They announced NVIDIA Reflex, which is sort of the next stage of what was ultra low latency mode introduced probably about a year and a bit ago now into the NVIDIA drivers, which works to lower the frame buffer in your GPU to provide lower frame latency, which is obviously quite useful and can give the competitive edge at a high level in games that require, very, very competitive, snappy, up-to-date, the latest data, like CSGO, Overwatch, the competitive games, Fortnite as well, and such, and Valorant now. And NVIDIA Reflex is like an even lower level version of that can even further decrease latency. It's not really clear how it works yet, but if it does that, and that's a use case for competitive gaming, that's cool. That's a good piece of kit.
Yeah.
I hope with time, I'm giving them shit for announcing the performance stats and DLSS. That's not because I'm anti-DLSS. That's because I'm not using it currently, so it's not a comparable number to my current card.
Yeah.
But if DLSS gets better and continues to get better and continues to look really good and continues to not be that noticeable unless you're looking for it, I'm 100% not opposed to running my fucking monitor and games at DLSS 4K when they're not, so they're not actually running at native 4K. I'm 100% down for that. If it gets me more frames and it looks good, I don't give a shit. That's fine with me. It's just that doing a benchmark and give performance stats for that when it's not a comparable use case to my current setup is really annoying. Because it's just shit.
Yeah.
And they announced the fucking AI fucking mapping you fucking like Ansel thing where you can like do movements and it'll map you to a game character for making machinimas or whatever. That was cool.
Yeah,
I
no,
really
it
don't
was.
like that people are still calling them machinimas. I thought we sort of stopped doing that.
It's just like
I'm
it's like a
sorry,
brand name sort of thing.
Think of the high quality YouTube poops we'll be able to make.
But, yeah.
But yeah, no, like in general, there's a lot of exciting stuff this launch. I just wish they'd give me actual performance stats for the cards. I believe there's YouTubers that have been authorized to do benchmarks and have already done benchmarks on the cards, and a few news orgs and such, and that's all cool. But it annoys me from a perspective. I can rave about Nvidia doing good shit in the technology and advanced technology. I can rave about Nvidia pricing them at a relatively decent point. All I want, but I cannot get over how annoying it is that I have to go to a third-party fucking source on YouTube to get actual performance stats about the cards that are releasing, when the company that's releasing them just won't give me those numbers. Like, surely you'd want to advertise your fucking product properly.
Yeah, no, it's completely fair, and honestly, it's justified. It's stupid what they do and how they do it, but it's. Pardon me. As you mentioned as well. Yeah.
Sorry, one last thing. They kept using the phrase "greatest generational leap." You'll have heard that if you watch the presentation. It's the greatest generational leap. The RTX 3080 is 2 times faster than the 2080. Wow, that's amazing. It's a huge leap. A whole 2 times faster in one generation. Yeah, a generation that's taken them 2.5 years to make, whereas every other generation took a year. So, quite frankly, it's underperforming in comparison to previous generations and how much they've leaped. Just pointing that out, Nvidia.
I would like to give a juxtaposition. I'm not going to use that word. I'd like to give an opposite point of the fact that I feel like at the moment tech's getting harder to not harder to advance, but it's.
Oh yeah.
We're getting to a point now where technology is almost at its limits with what we've got, and so it's obviously going to take longer until we find different methods or different ways of manufacturing or stuff like that. before we actually see major leaps in generations. It is honestly the biggest part of this that I really like is the fact of the pricing. And the fact that Nvidia have always been the expensive version, and I hope that it kind of makes AMD look at it and go, well, how can we do better? Obviously, we haven't really heard shit all from AMD, and who knows what they're going to be doing.
I want to make it clear again that I can criticize this all I like. I am probably buying a 30 series card.
Yeah, most likely I want to get one because it's like this 3070 is what, $450, but at the same price I paid my 5700
$499 is the rough price, yeah.
Well, that's the American price. Yeah, it's like £450. I can't remember the exact price.
Oh yeah, I forget that. I just measure things in dollars in my head.
Yeah, I know.
Like even like the 3090, right? I would consider buying the 3090, and that sounds crazy. But if you actually look at the relative performance of the 3090 in comparison to say like the 2080 Ti, right?
No.
And then you note that it costs for the Founders Edition £1,400, right? So you can probably obviously adjust for the non-Founders versions. That, to me, is like, well, if I bought that GPU, if I invested that and then had that GPU for way longer than I would normally have a GPU, right? Because historically I've had GPUs for about 2 to 3 years. If I keep that GPU for 6 to 7 years, that still works out about the same price efficiency. And for the performance gain, probably better off. Because that card especially is significant. And also, I do obviously want to be clear here that my entire interest in graphics cards is not just gaming. I do rendering and such that NVENC acceleration and what we can get from the RT and Tensor cores, it does actually benefit me quite significantly. So, and CUDA. So the fact that the, can I get the exact amount? The 3090 has 10,496 CUDA cores versus my current 2070, which has 2,304. You can see why that might interest me, considering it's principally like 2 and a bit times what I paid for this card a few years ago.
So just for everybody who is in the UK, it's 3090, 1,399, 3080, 649, and 3070, 469. And the dates they're coming out would be September the 24th, September the 17th, and October.
I want AMD to say, hey guys, we got a new graphics card. This graphics card is going to be priced at $499. It's going to have equivalent performance to in between the 3070 and the 3080. If Nvidia does that, I don't necessarily think I would personally buy it, but I think that would be good for them, and I think we could see a lot of Nvidia GPU sales, especially if they somehow manage to push the marketing of like if the new generation of consoles releases, right, and they're popular. Not even that necessarily everyone has one, but that they're, wow, these are really cool products and these are really performant and they're at trade shows and conventions and such, right? And everyone sees them as this cool device. They get that reputation from them. If AMD could release a new GPU that outperforms the equivalently priced Nvidia GPU and then market it like, hey, look at our graphics card, the same shit that powers the PlayStation 5, that really cool console that you like, I think AMD could do really well on the sales.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're both AMD supported.
If they don't do that, I hate to break it to AMD, but I think they've lost the graphics card race this generation around again. But I wasn't really expecting them to not to win, to be quite frank with you. I want them to, but at the same time, AMD often, especially with Ryzen, definitely has been taking a bit more of a slow and steady, sort of slowly creeping up on the market share. So it's definitely possible that they're gonna be able to do it. Also, RTX IO was announced. I should mention that. Which is the ability to connect directly to attach storage through PCIe, so you could connect from GPU through PCIe to an SSD without having to go through the CPU to make calls to that. It's not quite the same way the direct attached storage works on the PlayStation 5, which is a higher speed than normal SSD, direct attached with a compression and translation chip. But it is technically it's pretty similar in that you can basically connect your GPU directly to an SSD, roughly, to pull stuff, which would be pretty spicy. That'd be genuinely really good for gaming. So there's lots of good stuff in this launch. I just want to see actual performance numbers.
Yeah. I'm excited. It's also like, I don't know if I could be completely wrong off this, but it's like the first time there's been a major change in the heatsink. Because
reference cooling design is very different, yeah.
Yeah, and like from what I've seen, Asus ones kind of copies the same sort of idea of actually putting air through the entire, sort of like it runs through the front of it and then the back of it and comes out like through a different exit port sort of idea. And the fact that they're much bigger now. But it does look interesting. The one thing I don't like about the reference card, at least on the, I think it's the 1780, I don't know about the 90, is where they put the PCI pin slot. PCI pin slot,
horrible.
The pin slot, which really pisses. It's at like one of them's at an angle in the middle of the card, the other one's just straight down in the middle of the card. It just genuinely annoys me how
I have to admit,
shit it looks.
I would like to point out Nvidia and the third-party cards are all kind of pushing this, like, look at our cool new cooling method where we have like vents on the backplate now or whatever, and they're really like making a big thing about them. Gamers Nexus did a good video on the third-party releases if you want it. They're a great channel anyway, but
A bit monotone.
It's not anything new. This is how GPUs have been cooled for years. The
Yeah,
only difference on the reference cards is having two fans on either side.
yeah.
But having them move air through the card and vents on the backplate, that's my card has vents on the backplate. It's not a normal. Like
Doesn't.
they all do this. I don't know why it's suddenly being marketed like it's some innovation. It's a completely normal thing. Stop,
Yeah.
shut up. It's normal. It annoys me.
But no, like yeah, like that's what I kind of meant is the fact that reference card, at least the reference
card's
card's
very different, yeah.
yeah, which looks cool though. A bit. I don't like how like, it doesn't. I don't like how it's not symmetrical, but fuck it. If it has profile, it's literally just like where the PCIe pins are. Not PCIe, and fuck's sake, where the pins are really pisses me off. Like I don't know if that's just because that's a tactically better place or whatnot, but come on.
Tactically better.
Yeah, I know. But that's enough about the 30 series.
Oh, I thought you were sending even. Oh my god.
Yeah. Enough about the 30 series. Obviously, it comes out in September, late October, maybe me. They haven't given a date on October. It's literally just October when I check.
I think all of the, I think a lot of the performance stats were RTX on as well, and it's like I don't care. I do not give a single fuck.
I'm just trying to figure out. I assume that's not with DLSS, which would be the first actual graph I've seen without DLSS.
Yeah, I've seen.
But they also don't. Well,
some other benchmarks and such, but
well, the fact that the 2080 Ti is not on there, but instead
it's
they
always
decided
unclear.
Can we
and,
also just point out that they've graphed it relative performance?
Yeah. Which
That's
again
the
just
worst.
isn't a brilliant metric at all.
1.5, 2.
Hmm.
And Minecraft goes above 2.
The thing is as well, it's not even specified what like one thing I noticed I read somewhere, it's not even specified what they define performance as, okay?
No,
So is relative
absolutely.
performance the frame rate that's outputting, or is it frame times? Because if it's frame times and they've developed a new architecture for ultra low latency on the frame times,
Hmm.
then they could just be using that and making it look like it's getting way better performance, even though the FPS is only like a 40% increase. Which still, I mean, a 40% increase, like from the, like, you know, the 3070 being a 40% increase over the 2080, that's still a good deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, fucking advertise your actual performance, for God's sake.
No, I completely agree, and that's why I'm going to move it on to the next point. It is a great card. I hope it does well when it comes out. I may invest in one, who knows. My birthday's in October, so if you guys want to help, you're more than welcome.
Nice.
Also, can we just point out it is September, so get on your buttons. Anyway, I'm gonna
get on your buttons or buttons, either way.
buttons. I'm gonna do that every stream now. It's September. Support the channel. Alfie wanted to talk a little. Or Alfie mentioned the British training system, and we've spoken about this a little bit. And I agree with him. The British training system is absolutely shit. I wish the government didn't privatise it and subsection it. Put it this way. Well, to be fair, buses are a lot worse. I was going to say it's quite expensive. Buses are a shit ton worse. But train. Oh, it's just
It depends on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
okay. So
and
down where
what
we
you're
are,
using
buses are
them for.
expensive.
Yeah, where we live, buses are expensive, and like for example, on context, where one of the places I'm soon to be going by train for a day pass to go around what would the radius be in miles area roughly, like
Funny.
maybe like a 25, 30 mile-ish area, right?
Mm.
Is £5. The price to get from where Tactical lives to where I live is more than that.
It's
Yes.
$9.50 roughly for a return.
And it's like, that's absurd. Like, it's not. I don't like the buses here are expensive, but it's the most annoying thing is just the inconsistency between regions. Like what are the company local to us doing that is so inefficient and costing them so much that that's the margin they need in comparison to the other company? Like, they're clearly either just being arseholes or doing something seriously wrong.
Or both.
Or both, probably, but actually both. It's definitely both. I know it's both. But it's like it's just infuriating. And it's the same thing with the train network. There's plenty of ways to cheat the train network. So for a rough summary for people that don't live in the UK, the train network used to be nationalised. It used to be owned under a company called British Rail, and it was subsidised by the government. That was cancelled because it didn't make money. Thatcher, ha ha ha. And well, it was not her, but you get the point. Yeah. People like the first capitalism, first free market, train price go down, go up, whoops.
Up, whoops.
The UK is divided into sections, so you've got different franchises. They're called. They're all based around London. Imagine drawing like a clock around London, and like 12 p.m. or like 12 to 2 is a franchise, and then 2 to 4 is a franchise. That's basically how it works. Those franchises are bidded on by companies, and the company that bids the most wins the franchise block for X amount of years. They then get awarded by the body. Maybe I think they get to choose from up to a limit of like 5 years or something. So the body might award them 2 years or 5 years based on the bid and performance and historical things and such, and such forth. So there's major train companies around the country. First, which owns Great Western. There's
Isn't there
National
London?
Express. There's London North Eastern. Loads of ones around London. Southern. I'm trying to think of them. Virgin Trains, Virgin East, Virgin West.
Let's not even get into Virgin Trains.
There's ScotRail, which technically is multiple smaller franchises, but in Scotland they all trade under the brand of ScotRail because it works a bit differently in Scotland. I should point that out. I'm trying to remember fucking train company names, and for some reason I just can't get them off my head. But you get the point. That's how it works. And the problem with that is that all those train companies now charge different prices.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. Just because a franchise is owned by Great Western doesn't mean that only GWR trains run there. What it means is that Great Western can then lease out a route and give permission to a different train company, say Cross Country by Aviva. But they do that at a way cheaper rate than they travel. So, for example, the train journey that I'm going on, I'm not going to specify the exact route for obvious reasons, right?
Going
If
to
I
the
had
Middle East.
purchased it from A to B on the main train provider for our region, I would have paid approximately 6 times what I paid for both me and my friend. But because I went with a different provider, and rather than buying tickets from A to B, I buy from A to B, B to C, C to D to get to the same location. So I go small stops and stay on the same train. I just buy a ticket for that train to different sections. Then I just sit in the same seats and you just stay on the same train. I got that down an exceptionally large amount. And it just infuriates me because that system is useful here, which would be different if I was in a different part of the UK or the north on a different train network. I travelled regularly the same distance that I'm travelling in first class for £45 in a different part of the UK. Whereas to do any of this, it would have been like way past like 200, 250 to do what I'm doing by first class this time around down here. The network is inconsistent. The pricing is inconsistent. And then I haven't even got onto the fact that our scheduling doesn't work. We use different signalling systems in different parts of the UK. We have different franchises responsible for repairing different parts of the thing, even though we still have National Rail, Network Rail, that is meant to do basically work as a kind of national organisation to kind of repair and manage, and all of the railway lines are owned by Network Rail and then leased out. Each franchise is leased out to the thing, but the franchise owner doesn't own the railways. They just help maintain them, and pay a bit into the network rail cost of maintaining the railways. All of this shit creates this abysmal system where to just go from point A to point B by train, it is very, very often more expensive than flying by plane, which is absurd.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
If you know anything about MPGs with a train versus, plane, right? It's just insane. It's inconsistent. It changes exceptionally regularly. There are ways to completely cheat the system if you know what you're doing and save a load of money that only work for certain use cases. It's different depending on what part of the country you're in. And it's just confusing as shit, inconsistent. The trains are always running late. It's just terrible. I can't describe it in any more way other than it's a fractured hodgepodge piece of shit that has fallen into 416 different individual components that somehow some people are still trying to make work together when they've clearly been failing for 100 fucking years. And it's just failing worse and worse with every day.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like the train network, if that isn't clear.
That's
not true. I love the train network. I just don't like everyone that runs the train network.
Yeah, I feel like if we just kept it nationalised, it'd be great.
See London, where the trains are principally nationalised.
Yeah, but like one of the things I just talking about trains. The only time I've ever really gone a long distance, I went to Manchester and we flew. And if I'm not wrong, that was a £60 flight. I want to say that was for return. Yeah. I just checked from like roughly where I am. It's quite a bit further. Like the nearest big train station, from there to Manchester Piccadilly, cheapest price I could find was 98. Don't know if that's a return. Doubt it's a return. Add return. Let's see how much this return would be cost. Yeah, that didn't add a return. Fuck off. Okay, so yeah, cheapest I could find was 98, but the average apparently for like a night ride is 211, which I'm not paying for, and especially how long that's going to take. Like trains take fucking for ages for some reason. So well, at least some do, some don't.
For example, the last time I travelled a exceptionally long distance in this country, relative to the size of this country, because nothing in this country is that big a distance, was by train. I flew from unspecified airport to London. It was about a 110-minute marked flight, although in reality it took us about 40 minutes, and we were in a holding pattern over Heathrow for a fucking eternity, which is actually quite pretty, because banking over central London-ish is pretty fucking nice. But still, yeah. It was a good thing.
You just circled the shuttle for us.
Right? For one person for a round trip, with no holding, no fucking baggage in the cabin, in the fucking hold. Words, English, I'm failing at speaking the words because I'm in a tab and searching for stuff. Cost me £76.
Not bad.
Okay? I booked that 2 weeks in advance. So I've just looked up a train for 2 weeks in advance. It would be £121.30 for me to do the same journey.
How long would it take, roughly?
And it would take 4 hours and 33 minutes there and 4 hours and 50 minutes there back.
Yeah, nah, fuck that.
And it's like, so I could pay 76 quid, not 130 quid, which is near enough almost half, to get there in a quarter, if not lower, of the time, and have more space, and have a nicer experience for carrying luggage. Why would I travel by train for any other reason than, ethical in the environment? Which is why I try to travel by train whenever I can. Like, there is no genuine reason to travel by train in this country in terms of for an economic reason. It's just not worth it. It is cheaper to fly 90% of the time.
Most definitely.
Unless you're looking at buying long-range passes, like if you bought like a month-long ticket for a set journey, which you can do and such, which one you can often save money than flying, because that's not really a thing, flying necessarily. But it's just crazy. Like it's crazy to me that it's like that's how it works out. Like, never would you think that the more fuel efficient, more passenger efficient, right, slower method would cost more than the less fuel efficient, less passenger efficient, faster method. That just does not make sense. If that is the case, something is clearly wrong with the execution somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to say, Alan, on this?
Well, I'm glad I'm finally getting viewpoint on the subject in this. No, I definitely think that something's gone wrong with this podcast, but also wrong with the train system in general.
Yeah.
Especially in the more rural parts, as you mentioned. It's just incredible how much it varies area to area. I honestly don't know if I had to get a train up to London, for example, tomorrow. It would just be so much cheaper, even then, to get the plane. I mean, it'd be even cheaper still to get a coach, which
Oh, yeah,
I
that's true.
consider.
I don't because I physically can't fit in them.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't.
okay,
I can't get
fair
on coaches. I can't. I just can't.
To be fair, so I
Following
find
recent
train
experiences, I have decided that they are adequate, especially when there's distancing, and the distancing is literally just the seat next to you can't be taken. But that's good enough.
Oh, that's decent, yeah. Especially if
Yeah.
you're taking a bus or coach by yourself, it's nice to just have a row to yourself, or like a seat. Like if the seats next to you is nice and free, it's nice. I've only taken a coach once. Well, a long coach once in my life, and it was one of the most painful experiences of my life. There and back. Luckily, I slept most of it there back, so I only felt the pain for probably about an hour. But like, they're always a good option. It's always cheap.
And just to point out, I'd like to really just point out how stably bad the train network is and how unstably good the air network is in the middle of COVID-19, which has been exceptionally detrimental to airports, especially local airports that rely on hub and spoke, right?
Right.
In the midst of a literal collapse of an airline in the almost collapse of an airline in the UK to the point where they're not running services from specified airport anymore, right? So it's a different airline now, which wasn't the case a few months ago. And obviously noticing they're also running reduced schedule and all of that shit because of COVID.
Yeah.
It is still for the best, because obviously you can't just book a plane for tomorrow, but for the next basically main available trip would still be cheaper to fly by plane than it would be by train. And it's just, that just should not be how it works in any situation.
I would like to say flying is fun.
That much shit. It should not be the case that it's somehow still cheaper.
It's weird.
But yeah, I do think I'd agree with Phelan that it's not even just the economic side of it from a economic policy or opinion or government. It's just the entire network itself. It's run down. The signaling systems change between different parts of the UK. It's exceptionally hard to maintain certain areas of it because it's just not been modernized ever. There's problems in certain areas. There's parts that, all across the country that run across areas that have regular landfills. There was the train crash where it derailed in Scotland recently. That was terrible. And that was just because the area that the train ran on was in an area that had mudslips regularly, and that could have been prevented. But we'd never upgrade the railways ever and haven't done for 416 years.
Hey, that's a precise number, by the way.
The whole network is exceptionally complete. I mean, look at Crossrail in London, right? Crossrail is one of those projects that has a lot of buzz around it because it's a really exciting project that was announced years ago. It's been delayed by years. It's billions over budget. It is exceptionally... You can think of it as a disaster. You can think of it as not their fault and just bureaucracy got in the way. You can think it's not their fault and the government got in the way, or spending got in the way, or pressures and timelines that are unrealistic. Whatever you think of it, half the problem of Crossrail's development, whether you agree with it should exist, you think it was fair enough that they had those problems, or it was not their fault and the company's bad, is that to get a train to go from one side of London to the other, you have to go through 5 different signaling systems, and that's London. It's there's clearly something wrong here, right? It cannot be this hard to make trains not hit each other. You know?
Yeah.
Seems fairly simple, especially when they're,
Trains.
they're meant to be pretty well regulated, and positioned. But...
It can only go 2 ways. Not like it's hard to signal them.
And then there's obviously the rural areas of the UK that have the more rural tracks and such, right? The time it can often take to travel 150 to 200 miles in one section of the UK is the same time it can take to travel 50 miles in a rural section where the train lines because they have to go super slow for half of it. And that's infuriating because at that point, it's now it's just really slow. it's tiring, and you're on a busy train for ages. It just makes the whole experience awful from start to finish. There's no one in the UK that likes traveling by train.
No.
Mm.
Maybe 2 people. 6 at a push.
I would say though the only thing that trains do benefit from is they're one of the only transport you can get away with not paying on. Wait, what? So
Not really. Not in a lot of the country now.
oh well, we're in the lucky place then.
Yeah.
Like
In
the
some
only,
areas you can.
yeah, there's some places like I'm surprised it isn't standardized that they have the well, what's the thing that you put your ticket into and it's like a
Ticket gate.
yeah. I'm surprised that isn't standardized for more places.
Yeah, they're trying to roll it out across most of the country. But the problem was that they started rolling them out, and then the e-ticket revolution happened, where loads of the train lines moved to having electronic tickets, and none of those ticket gates could accept electronic tickets apart from the ones in London, which could read RFID tags and NFC through the Oyster system, which was pretty easily interchangeable to work with contactless payment cards and such. But then that doesn't work down here because we don't use that system. You don't just tap in with a card, you have to pre-purchase tickets. But then what if you have a ticket on your phone? So they had to attach these scanners to half of them, but that's not rolled out everywhere in the country. It's so bad. It's just
Annoying.
terrible. And if you've ever traveled around London train network isn't great. It has a lot of problems. The pricing can be inconsistent if you're traveling on a government subsidized TfL train versus a non-government subsidized, say, GWR train. For example, when I was last in London, no, that's not true. One of the previous times I was in London, I took a train from one of the big major London places to Suburb Station. This is a National Rail and TfL underground station to a National Rail station, taking a TfL subsidized train there, or well, most of the way, sorry, and then taking a Southern train for the last little bit. Cost me like £18 for a return. And doing that same thing on a GWR train cost me £56.
Ooh.
That's the problem with the UK. It's so inconsistent as well between different train companies, and just small changes in where you're traveling from. It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. I'm sorry, carry on.
I don't even know what I was meant to be an impression of.
Nothing, I was just saying it's crazy, man.
Right.
I've just seen, by the way, Elgato have opened up their partnership program. Should I apply?
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
Will I get the same response I did from
Probably.
float plane?
Flight boat.
Yeah. flight bat.
My favourite Luke Lefremway fucking product. Flight boat.
Luke Flemflo.
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
He's
I
that
love
cool
this.
guy from Linus Media Group.
Right, so let's do this as a stream. How would you describe me?
Oh my god.
What? What the fuck's happening?
I would describe. Okay, write my exact words.
No.
I, Tactical TV, am an excellent opportunity for a brand outreach partnership. I have excellent engagement, and as an influencer, I will lie to my audience to ensure that your product receives the utmost. I've run out of words. My vocabulary is done. That's the words I know.
Okay. I thought you were waiting for him to catch up on.
Tactical TV.
It's a film that Will Smith didn't star in. It's going to be good. You know, somehow I'm not surprised. There's a part of me that wants to be surprised, but I think what we've been saying to each other, I feel like...
Yeah.
So I just something I wanted to say. It took me way too long to realise what you guys meant by a stream baby. I'm kind of
Yeah.
sad
Oh
that
my
it took
God.
me that long, but I got there. So something else I wanted to. So the other topic I wanted to talk. The other topic, well, I wanted to talk about is sort of. So we're thinking of playing. Me and Alfie are thinking of playing Fallout 76. As we both never played it. We both heard bad things about it, and it would just be fun to experience it on stream.
And kind of more importantly for me as well, it's not that I just haven't played it, it's that I didn't want to purchase the game when it was announced. saw how even worse than I was expecting it was when it released, saw all of the bad review, and then have seen literally no gameplay of it since. Like, not an ounce. So it would be really interesting for me to go into the game and be like, what actually is the experience of this game like now? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Is it just middle of the road? Like, would I purchase it? Would I not? It's going to be interesting. That's kind of the experience I want.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how they've implemented like a story and like NPCs. One of the things I really want to just look at is or enjoy is I really like Fallout 4 as it is, just like a simplified Fallout 1 and 2, and it's an enjoyable game with good characters, in my opinion, decent story. But this one is more like looks. I just want to enjoy the looks of it and see how it plays out.
I will always maintain that Fallout 4 is an excellent video game. It's just not a good Fallout game.
Yeah.
I mean, even then,
I wouldn't say
excellent
video game's a stretch. It's a decent. Yeah, but that's every Bethesda game that wasn't made by Obsidian.
I mean,
like every Bethesda game that wasn't made by Obsidian.
It really seems to vary person to person. So,
well, that's half the problem. So many of the bugs are like edge cases on certain hardware, or they're just random chance, right? Like the multiple Skyrim bugs that still haven't been fixed that can just completely brick your save.
I got lucky. I don't think I ever experienced anything major.
The thing is, people think, oh, just roll back to the previous save. But multiple of these bugs are like something that happened at your third save has caused an issue that at your 118th save means that you can't progress in the story. So the only way to fix it would be to go all the way back to the third save and hope that the RNG trigger doesn't happen that you can't know until you've got to the same point of progression as the 180. Like, that's half the shit that goes on in Skyrim and a lot of other Bethesda's products. One thing I will say is that Obsidian need more games made by Obsidian, and anyone that wants to fund Obsidian to make games is great because they're great at making games. But case in point, New Vegas, which is a stunning Fallout game and great and just good in every way. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I do like Fallout 4. Like, I genuinely do. I think it's a good game. I wouldn't say excellent. That was just me exaggerating earlier, but it's a good game. It's just not really. And it was kind of abstracted a bit from the sort of the vibe, I guess, for a colloquial term that I got from like New Vegas and such. I didn't I don't really feel like if I was to describe like New Vegas, I felt like you felt like it was post-apocalyptic, right? Yeah. I don't feel like I felt like that in Fallout 4. Everything was kind of just like obviously it's post-apocalyptic in the sense that there's like destroyed buildings and that dog looks a bit weird, oh no, and there's this faction that wants to kill me, but just the like characters and the way they were written, the way the story was written, that side of it didn't feel, and the game mechanics and stuff just didn't quite immerse me in that world enough to make me really feel like I was actually struggling to survive necessarily as such. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really hoping my computer's not about to restart, but just in case, there's your warning.
Is it like Caden? Caden has got a small note for the podcast. Caden has a task scheduler event that he somehow still hasn't been able to delete that restarts his PC every single day at a specific time.
Wow.
What? Yeah.
Just for everybody's, just so everybody knows, I have applied for partnership. Let's see if that goes not well. So, yeah, I'm interested. Hopefully, I don't know what we'll do after sort of failing not to play a game or whatnot. I suggested to Alfie maybe split in it, so do like an hour or an hour and a half of Fallout, and then we can go over to Among Us, sorry, or something like that.
Yeah. I'm messaging Reese as we speak, and he was interested in doing some ghost ship missions in Sea of Thieves.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
If you haven't seen, so like ghost ships, they fire like ghosts at you, and they do more damage than usual, but they also only take like 3 or 4 hits to die.
Okay.
And there's like missions, and they're quite cool. They've got like slight special attacks and stuff. It's quite fun.
Interesting.
They're not, particularly dangerous once you know the attack pattern and that, so don't worry.
Yeah.
And he was thinking of doing that, so it's possible we could stream some Fallout 76 and then stream that or something. We'll figure it out. Obviously, no confirmation. Anyone listening, but
anyone listening, yeah. So yeah. Something else we want to talk about? is... Oh, I just wanted to briefly mention, yes, Black Ops Cold War finally got revealed. I was there during the reveal event, and gotta say, that was one of the best...
Anti-crash the first time.
Yes, it was one of the best events I've seen in a while. It was really well done, in my opinion, and it definitely got the attention of the user. However, the after the lobby was kind of trash, if anybody remembers that.
Yeah.
It summed up Call of Duty in a nutshell.
Yeah, the less said about that, the better.
But the actual trailer looks good, and the new Black Ops, I'm excited. It looks like they've basically just... it looks like it's going to be the same as Modern Warfare, so reboot morphin, more of a thing, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Honestly, it'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, there's not much really going on too much with that. I haven't really like the reveal is next week, multiplayer reveal. That'll be interesting. I don't know when, but it might be on the podcast or before the podcast. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. What? Oh, you just saying yep. Yep. I like it indeed. Or I just want to say,
Yeah.
is this a different one?
Oh god, what's he done? / found.
It must be. It must
What's
be
a
a different
different
one. Oh, it's got Fortnite content. That's why. Okay. I was just looking at headsets because my sister's got a PlayStation. She wants a headset for it. And there was there was literally these two identical headsets. Just one was 60 and the other one was 100. And this other one has £40 worth of Fortnite content, which genuinely triggers me.
Oh yeah.
Because
Make bank off
just
that one.
why? Make bank off that? No, fuck off.
I like the biggest controversy about the new Black Ops for me is going to be how they implement Reagan.
Yeah,
Because that's a character that, like, to be clear, I think the majority of people don't agree politically with. You know, now. But also, I think, frankly, then really, like, it's just an asshole. You know, it's a shit person, right?
Right.
Very racist, very, fucking anti-abortion, anti-gay, just a cunt. So, like, how are they going to implement him? Because are they going to, keep him in character relative to the time, or are they going to not really have much relation to the real world events and the real world Reagan, and he's just going to serve as a story character?
well, it does say
it's going to be
based.
interesting.
It does say based on real events.
Well, yeah,
Based
but
on
like,
real president.
Yeah, based.
I mean, like, every Call of Duty is based on real events in the event that, like, I don't know, I'm sure some people had a gun and walked up a staircase once. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's it looks good. I'm just more interested in how the story goes. I hope it does the sort of the original Black Ops of just being batshit crazy but fun.
Literally crazy in a way.
Quite literally, yeah.
Mm.
I'm just trying to find stuff on it. So in this, one of the quotes is, "We'll come face to face with historical figures and hard truths." I'm also interested in who else they add to this. So, what if they just thought, "Fuck, let's put Hitler in this"?
Would be a little bit after his time, but at the same time,
I'm worried if Hitler's alive in the Cold War.
Okay, so
could make things a bit more interesting.
So this is apparently part of the story. In 1981, President Ronald Reagan learns of Perseus, who's a Soviet spy, based on an actual conspiracy.
Right.
And authorizes a black operation. So, oh my god, the player's character, codename Bell. I hope his last name's End.
Great.
Wait, what? Okay, this is not something I've seen. The player character, codename Bell, can customize with different skin tones, ethnic backgrounds, and or genders.
Oh.
So it's got quite a custom. Okay, didn't see that coming from a COD campaign. Not gonna lie.
Surprising, yeah.
I'm curious if that's
How
actually
often
going
are
to make
you
a
gonna
difference.
see that though?
Never.
Like,
I doubt it. I like that. What I liked about the fucking about Modern Warfare is the fact that you had these set characters that you played as, and you knew them because you played as, like, for example, you would play as Gaz, and then like the next mission you would play as Alex, and you would see
everyone
Gaz.
understands.
Gaz is part of the Modern Warfare history. If you know Modern Warfare, you know who Gaz is.
Like, so everyone knows.
Okay, so my favourite thing about this is it says that the multiplayer will bring a Cold War arsenal. Really? Oh, I thought it was going to be World War II weapons.
Can we get a 5 for Bravo 5, by the way, Charles?
Why?
Because that's the call sign of Gaz.
Oh, I do apologise.
You don't
Oh,
know
this.
Gaz
Oh, yeah.
You don't know Gaz at all!
So this, I don't know if any of you have seen this, but the teaser trailer got banned in China
Of course it did.
because it had a 1-second depiction of the 1989.
Yeah, it got banned in China for about 10 minutes, at which point Activision deleted the video, like full-on deleted the video from YouTube, and then re-uploaded it with the, oh, whoops, Tiananmen Square. That didn't happen. We forgot about Tiananmen Square. Sorry, we didn't realise that video was fake, and not at all the moment that China murdered millions of its own, well, hundreds of its own citizens. Like, yeah, just a reminder, that didn't happen. Definitely didn't happen, by the way. We love you, China. Suck on China's cock.
Yeah. What was that last bit, Alfie?
That's the sound it makes when you squeeze Winnie the Pooh for a shit ton of money while happily exploiting slave labour. Thanks, China.
So something Call of Duty are doing different this year again, which is again interesting. It looks like they're copying out of the Battlefield books. Is all DLC, multiplayer, and zombies will be completely free.
Is that copying out? No, that's not copying out of the Battlefield books. Don't lie to me.
Okay, so Battlefield 5 did that, but Battlefield 1, 4, 3 didn't. They had
whichever the
premium.
latest one is
5.
didn't, because they didn't.
That's what I mean.
Wasn't the Pacific one?
Battlefield 5 had free downloadable content. Now that was the first in its
But
series.
that's what I'm saying. Did it? 'Cause I thought the Pacific thing was paid for.
No. So they
Ah.
do seasons where you
okay.
could
I
like
see.
buy sort of stuff to get more stuff, but the actual download, like the base of it, like the maps
yeah,
and
things are
like
going
some
over to battle
weapons.
passes now and
Yeah.
season pass.
Did you
Which-
just describe investing?
Yes, I did. Um.
And then we get to the thing about whether it should be called DLC, and it fucking infuriates me that updates are now called DLC.
Oh yeah.
The first game that I remember doing it, and I'm sure they weren't, I know for a fact they weren't first, would have been FTL. When free DLC. It wasn't even separate on the Steam store. It was literally just an update. I don't know why that trend
feel like
started.
that-
and I
so-
don't know if it helps with sales. I don't know. Clearly it does something
Personally,
for 'em.
this is going to be just my personal opinion, so you guys are going to disagree. But personally, I feel for it to be classed as DLC, you get the option to download it. It's not something that's just in the game.
So I have to disagree because you said I'm going to disagree.
Okay. What are you going to disagree with?
You,
Okay.
I think, was the implication.
Okay.
I don't know. 'Cause, I mean, I guess you're technically downloading an update, but I don't know. It definitely seems like it would be separate in some way. And then when it's separate, you get to the point of asking, well, why don't you just add it to the game if you're going to release it free? And,
It'll be very shortly.
it's a
No
whole
worries.
thing.
Oh, it's like not everybody
Excellent.
wants it, I
My
guess.
time to talk about the 3000 series. So anyway,
That's shit.
I don't quite know how I was going to put it. But, let's round it off.
How has this website got this so wrong?
Okay, what's happened?
What? How has it got? Oh, I think he's just copy pasted shit and forgot to edit it. So, specialist return in 2nd of September. Multiplayer reveal time 2nd of December. The times are like 10 p.m. 9th of September. How have you got that wrong? Also, it's meant to be the 8th, isn't it? I could be wrong anyway.
I will also be back second.
Oh my god, it's all by myself now. So, I don't know. I just want to pay our respects to Chadwick Boseman. He honestly was a legend, as I said in the intro. And his passing was genuinely shocking. I woke up, I was like, the fuck is this? It genuinely just, it was so out of the blue that nobody really saw it coming. He was such a wonderful person, had such a soul, a bright soul. We'll do it. I got an email Oh, okay. No, I was going to say I got an email from Elgato, and I was like, they've just declined me instantly, haven't they? They haven't said anything yet. We got luck, lads. Got luck. I again, yeah, we might be doing Fallout after this. Maybe some Sea of Thieves. We'll see. It'll be interesting. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. I do have a new microphone coming. Whoops. I have a new microphone coming Sunday. So next week we'll have the proper stream. Oh, like I have new audio, which I'm kind of excited for. Not gonna lie. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. Not really. Pardon me, not much else to talk about apart from I just wanted to thank all of you so much. I'm not ending, just wanting to do this. Thank you so much for your, honestly, for your time and for your support and your generosity. Corporal, Delicious, Obsessing, Ash, Agent Oink, fucking Astiverd, all you wonderful people for just subbing has been amazing. I never expected to have 6 months at this point, not gonna lie.
Me neither.
But we'll get this working very soon. Thank you very much, Agent Oink, for this beautiful piece of gear. Just need the mic for it to come, which should be Sunday, which will be interesting. It's not gonna make it's not gonna make too much of a difference, but it'd be enough of a difference that I'm happy with it.
Nice.
I got an email from Elgato just saying that we're a small team. I doubt that. It may take some time to reply. So, who knows?
They're sharing it around the office.
Yeah,
Laughing at it.
Look at this peasant.
Exactly.
Oh,
Look at this idiot. Look, he's live right now.
I just want to say,
Guaranteed.
by the way, I completed all the COD summer events with gold stars. I unlocked the skin. I'm actually quite happy about that.
And what?
So they had these summer events, which was like, what was it? It was, so one of them was target practice, one was a parkour course you had to run through in a certain amount of time, and all that. And I got gold stars on all of them, which gave you a skin.
What?
On COD.
In COD, okay.
I said that at the beginning.
Don't think you did.
I did. Can I also just point out, this is just me. I didn't expect this to feel so solid. I genuinely didn't feel that. Like, I know it's, I don't know. I just didn't think it was made out of metal. Not gonna lie.
What?
This.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I didn't think it would be such.
Yeah, but what? Like, why didn't you think it would be? What did you think it'd be made out of?
Plastic. No, potato chips.
Mm.
So yeah, what's been going on in your life? Have you been doing have you been doing much?
Yeah, a bit of creative work, which is always fun. Bit of logo design.
Nice. Yeah, same actually. It is a very, very hard thing to do, logo design. Well,
It is when I want something that's impossible, but
yeah. Oh, I when I try to do logo design, I always try and make it so it's some like I'm trying to go to actual like graphs, so it's all like so one side's the same as the other, like measurement wise.
right.
For those who do want to make logos, I highly recommend making them in a vector. I hope you've done yours as a vector.
I've not, because
Okay.
I was given a template, like a reference, well, not a template, but a thing I had to work on. It was a, can't remember if it was a PNG or a JPEG, but I'm sure it should be
Okay.
a PNG.
Well,
I should be able to convert it into a vector. To be fair, it's quite shapy rather
Yeah.
than anything else.
because I was going to say, if for those who don't know, the reason I recommend doing it as a vector is vector. So the simplest way to put it, if you make an image, I'm going to describe this shitly, but this is how I know it and how I know it. If you make an image on like, so it's like, let's say you've got just, yeah. So if you make an image and you're using like PNG, how that image is done is it's defined by how many pixels it takes up on like a 1080p like canvas.
Specifically 1080p.
Yeah.
By the way.
I'll just like it would take up. Well, if you're making it, if you're making a vector, well, it calculates it with mass. So if you were to make it 10 times the size, you're gonna lose any quality. That's the best way I could describe it. But I know how it works, and that's why I'd like to design logos in vectors, because if you want to upscale them for advertisements or different things, or if you want to downscale them, you're not going to lose any quality.
Generally a good idea.
That's why I designed the majority of my logos in
To put it
vectors.
simple, PNG is a raster image format. What that means is it's defined by a rectangular grid of pixels. Each pixel is defined with a specified color. That color space might change between different types, and there might be compression and other things. Whereas vector graphics uses the definition of shapes with mathematical formulas so that they can be scaled to any size.
Okay.
Also, would just like to point out, now that I'm back, what I was going to say, sorry, we had a bit of a Chinese ordering emergency thanks to cookies not working on a shit website properly. I know. That I feel like with the DLC, I'm not sure what you said, obviously, because I wasn't fully here, but I'm sure Phelan would agree with me.
We quite
'Cause
literally
I
said
also-
nothing when you left, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Because Phelan
I-
left straight after.
Oh wow. I think it's bullshit that you get these games that release updates and they call them DLC. If it's a thing that just gets installed to the game, it's just an update. Okay.
Yeah.
DLC originally was called the phrase DLC. You got to think the proper origins of DLC was back on the old consoles, right? I think probably like the Dreamcast and the PS2 were like the major ones that I can think of off the top of my head. When you didn't have online connectivity, right? So when a game would get an update, that's not really a thing. Like it would just be printed onto the CD. But what started happening, or what happened for some games, would you get DLC, downloadable content, where if you got the network adapters for each console and such, you could try and very slowly pull thing. And there was also the
You would
It's
get
also
them
Discord.
in.
I can't
Yeah, you would
remember
get
what it was called for
Discords.
the one that worked that you get the TV channels that existed. There were TV channels that at specific times of the day would broadcast visual data that could be interpreted as an update for a game, as DLC
cool.
for a game.
Oh.
And that was the thing for
to
Rock.
be fair.
And that's where like all that started, right?
Hmm.
So where I think the definition for me is, if a game is like, I get why that was called DLC, even though I wouldn't necessarily agree that's DLC by modern standards. That's just a game update. I get why, because
Yeah.
live updating wasn't really a thing, right? So like an update that added a new map to a game now that we just can, like, say like Overwatch getting an update and there being a new map, that's just an update to Overwatch, right? That concept didn't exist at the time, so I fully understand why it was called DLC at the time. But now, for me, a DLC is a purchasable addition of content to the game, right?
Yeah.
If it's a free addition to the content that isn't installed by default, I will accept that that's DLC begrudgingly. But for me, DLC is like, I pay £10 extra for this extra content that downloads and gets added on. If it's just an update that comes for free and gets downloaded, not DLC. If it's a bug fix or something, not DLC. If you're just adding a map to your game for free that gets pushed to everyone, it's not DLC. DLC is a separate extension to the game. And I definitely think that DLC, like, because of its history and context, is not necessarily the best term for that. But it's what that term came to mean for me.
I would definitely agree, because
that's
I
what I
grew
grew
up.
up
with.
I grew up with Call of Duty, which with DLC were map packs. It was like 5 maps, maybe a weapon, and it was something you had bought. It was something you had the option to download to the game, extra downloadable content, not something that was mandatory or something that just downloaded for free while you were waiting. Something I just wanted to add on as well when it came to updates, DLC, when you're talking about the old days. This is like the PS2 days. I don't know if Phelan's would be the same as mine.
Sorry. Just one really small point. I can't remember. This is just because you're both really lifeless, and I'm sorry, Charles, for making you look so offended there. The TV channel that I was talking about earlier, it was used to download updates.
Was
for games.
ITV2?
No, I can't remember what the TV. It's not a TV. It's whatever. The system that it works, right? It was for a specific console. I know that it was used most commonly in Japan, and because of storage limitations, it was downloaded into RAM. So the second you rebooted your console, or if you lost your signal halfway through, that's it. It's gone.
Oh.
Just to point out how like old school this shit is, it's amazing. So you'd have to wait for that broadcast to play the game, and then at any point if it crashes or if you turn it off, that's it.
Wow.
That sounds like such a pain. I'm not
Sounds like we've gone back to that sort of day and age, to be honest.
Yeah.
But something I just wanted to quickly say, and I don't know if Phelan would agree with me the same way, but how I knew DLCs, at least, because I was like, did they do that back in the PS2 days? And I just kind of remembered, mainly because I've seen videos on it, and I've seen it a few times, is you would get it in magazines, like a disc in magazines with updates for games. That was the good old days, and that would be like PC games, PS2 games, and like before updates as we know them were thin. weird to see how far we've come.
No, but I don't remember ever getting updates from magazines. Like, to be fair, I never got the magazines, but to me, magazines were always the secrets and a cheat.
I
And
remember.
occasionally
I
the free
remember that.
giveaway,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I
other than
remember
that, I
that in
wasn't
our
aware.
generation, mostly our
Mm.
magazines had moved on. I want to put it actually for people that don't know, the UK had a really big gaming magazine market. Like it was a
It
huge
still
thing
quite
here,
does,
like
actually.
bigger than in America and shit. Like that's the kind of like it's I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
why it was so big here, but yeah. Anyway,
It still is, I would say.
shout out to PC Gamer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of our generation was like cheat codes and Easter eggs and such was a lot of what
Yeah.
early magazines covered for us. Whereas I think if you not like even if you just go a few years back before we were starting to play on the early games consoles that we played on, that was when you would have demos in magazines on CD
Oh, yeah.
and probably updates and such. I think that was probably we just missed that by like a few years, which is interesting.
Gosh.
We're also the generation that had the first generation / earliest generation of Netflix and Love Film, where you could rent games and then have to send them back.
Shout out to Love Film.
I remember that. I remember getting what did I get? I got Battlefield, I swear, as a demo at some point. Up, down, left, right, BA. Yep, that is BA start. Sorry, that is the Konami code for anybody who doesn't know. It's the classic cheat code. I still remember the sounds of the cheat code, like activating the cheat codes in San Andreas. Best sound
I
ever.
miss cheat codes.
Yeah, and I miss getting
Yeah.
my friend had a book about this thick of just cheat codes for like all PS2 games, and then you have to flick through them, and it was great
I
fun.
know games you just never hear of again or before.
Yeah. How you doing, by the way, Assassin? But those are the good old days. Honestly, I miss them. Simpler times. But or even go back when we were in secondary school, games were much better. PC gaming in general was much better because you didn't have to worry about fucking battle passes, or they weren't as much of a thing back then. It's ridiculous how much they've come into mainstream. Well, I wouldn't say mainstream, but like mainstream gaming. Battle passes are
I think
everywhere.
That is definitely the new marketing thing.
I mean, games as the service is just all the companies care about these days.
Yeah, it's not fun.
Why sell a product when you can have a subscription fee? Like it's just insane.
Yeah. Actually, just because I saw it, something I do want to. It's related to gaming. Something I was talking to Phelan about this. What I just want to talk about is you see these games that get really popular, be it through Twitch or YouTube. They get really famous and all that, and the devs get really rich or whatnot. And then they either just go out of they sometimes just go out of mainstream media. They just die down, or they become a fan favorite, and they're still played. Fall Guys being one of them, but Fall Guys did something that you don't see often, and I love it. And that's the fact that they use their hype, the fact that they're kind of at their peak at the moment for good. With the whole charity raising money, and you get your logo on a Fall Guys official character. And the fact they raised £1 million because of it is just because they literally just use their hype. And the fact that they're kind of at that peak point now of the game's sort of, I wouldn't say peak, they could get better for all we know, but you don't see it too often, in my opinion, where they start using it for good. You know, the promotion, the publicity, and it's nice to see them do that, honestly. And it is a fun, innocent game. The developers are lovely people, from what I've seen. It's just generally a nice little game. It's a fun streaming game. I wouldn't personally play it by myself because I'm bored. I would pick other games over that. It's just one of those fun community games to play with friends or while you're streaming, sort of game. Which is what's, it does it well. So honestly, if I don't know how, but Tim the Tatman made it to. What was it? Made it to mainstream media sports news for the public by winning just his first game.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know, ESPN put a major post up on their website or on their Twitter saying Tim the Tatman has finally got his crown in Fall Guys. Was there nothing more interesting in the sporting world on that day? Because it wasn't their
Didn't
esports.
the Tatman have been struggling for ages? already?
Come on. Or as I like to call him, Tit the Tatman, because I keep mispronouncing his name.
Right.
Yeah, is Alfie disappeared again?
No.
Just doesn't care.
I was just reading some interesting news about the
3060.
the new digital services tax.
Okay.
It's come out in a few European countries, including the UK.
Okay.
So Apple has officially announced through an email to iOS developers that they're fronting the tax to the developers. They're just refusing to pay it entirely, and all of the tax rate they're just increasing the cut they take from people, basically.
Okay.
Which means that in the UK, if you're selling an app on the iOS store, 30% goes to Apple. Right, they take
Okay.
the 30% right at the start, and 22% goes to tax, 20% for VAT, and 2% from the digital services tax, which leaves 48% to go to the dev.
Jeez.
The devs are now on iOS receiving minority from their own work.
Yeah.
Shout out to them doing this like at a time as well when they've just been brought under fire for taking their cut already, or so
Yep.
much of the cut. God,
Ridiculous.
how that company's managed to survive on pretty much just controversy and the occasional good product for creatives for so long.
Oh, it's quite literally the same
And
for
obviously-
Facebook.
You got to remember as well, like that
Facebook
that
actually
pipeline
has a
doesn't just
model
end there, right? Like from the point of purchase, 30% goes to Apple, 22% goes to the immediate taxes of VAT, right?
Yep.
But then, depending on what the company does with that money, there's other taxes involved in the business expenses and such. Like,
Yep.
so it's not a good time to be a dev. And don't get me wrong, like I think Apple should pay their fair share of tax, considering they pay.
Right, they've got to him, lads.
Yeah.
Regulate them so that the tax
Yeah,
doesn't
it
get
is.
put on small devs.
I don't know how that happened.
I don't know. Perhaps just an internet hiccup. But
Oh no, the fact that he went and came back, literally, like the sentence didn't really cut. That was
Did I
interesting.
DC
Yeah,
or
yeah, you
some
DC
shit?
for like a solid 2
The
seconds.
fuck?
I made a joke that Apple had finally got to you.
Apple, of course, I'm dead. I'm sorry. Tim Sweeney's killed me. Wait, that's the wrong one. Tim Cook's
Tim Cook,
killed
what
me.
was it? Donald Trump called him Tim Apple, that was it.
Tim Apple, yeah. Tim Apple. Do you like Mr. Tim Apple?
I think he should just change his name because of that. Like, if I was Tim
you heard-
Apple,
Bro,
Tim Cook
have you
and
heard
Apple.
about the new hit
Really,
lawsuit?
Josh?
Tim Apple versus Tim Epic.
Oh, that's beautiful. Honestly, like, yeah, they're shitty companies.
Yeah.
Mm.
Can we get Google, Microsoft, and Apple, and Amazon, and all of those to pay tax, please? That'd
Yeah.
be nice.
It'd be pretty poggers.
Nah, well,
Okay. Okay, I regret this. Avoid tax all you want, Amazon. How much is Amazon's paid in the past? Isn't it like, yeah, it was like I think they've paid like 60 million in the past like 20 years in tax in the UK.
well,
Oh,
let's let them keep going for a little bit because I want to at least do one watch party, okay?
Okay, sorry, Amazon, you're amazing. I forget that you own Twitch.
I'm
I
not
regularly
sure that
forget
the
that. Jeff Bezos,
watch
yum.
parties are gonna be.
Oh boys, shall we watch
Like,
Colin?
oh, we're paying tax, guys. Can't have us watch parties anymore.
Shall we watch Colin McRae Rally Legend? Fucking that's on there. Great
That-
shows on here. Rambo.
God, this image.
Is
I didn't need to see this image again.
It's alright.
The room is alright. It's just alright.
We'll discuss. I genuinely want to do a watch party just for bands. And I want to see
Sure.
how it looks as well. Because it's inbuilt to Twitch. I'm curious how they do it.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
I've
because
not been involved in one since they originally rolled them out to partners or whoever it was.
I don't know if I
I've not
have
even
to.
seen how it works.
I don't know if I have to do it over OBS or if it's on stream. I don't know. I want to try. You know, what? I don't know. I want to try it.
I want to know if they're doing something to like make up with the chat.
Yeah,
Well-
I presume how it works, Charles, is you have like a pet. This is obviously just speculation.
Mm.
You'll have like a way of initiating it in a control panel somewhere in Twitch, right?
I do, yeah.
And then from OBS, you stream
Thanks.
like what would appear in like the corner as your webcam.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So like you probably would just stream your full webcam, and then it just gets put in the corner, and then obviously we go in, and if we have access to said content, we can watch it with you. It's interesting.
Wait, do
It's
you
an
have to have
interesting idea.
access to said content to watch it with me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'd
if you're
imagine so.
streaming Amazon Prime content, then the only people with Amazon Prime can watch you, or Twitch Prime. They have to have their account
Oh,
linked.
interesting.
Yeah, you can't just broadcast content that's copyrighted to anyone.
Mm,
That's not how that works.
magical man.
It is pretty impressive.
Oh, man. Wish you could.
Is there anything else anybody would like to talk about?
Oh, was the anti-mask protest in the UK?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
and we've also had Extinction Rebellion protests start up in London again. Extinction Rebellions are currently planning to protest in London, the Welsh Parliament, and Manchester, HS2 destination area.
When I used to work in Primark, they came into our shop, literally walked around for 5 minutes, and then left.
Boggers.
They were wearing red or what? I don't know. I couldn't give you shits. Oh,
Gosh.
yeah.
The most notable thing about them was them wearing red. At least I muted my mic.
Right, I do apologise. I will be back in a moment. You guys can carry on the show. I'm probably going to finish up in a few moments anyway, on the hour and a half mark probably.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sure.
So I'll be back in just a moment. Do apologise. Have fun.
Okay, guys. So now's my time to talk about the RTX cards, which I just didn't get a chance to earlier.
Yeah, actually, give your opinion. Go on.
Thing is, I mentioned it to him as well. I tried to subtly. I don't want to drop it in the middle of a stream. It just doesn't seem right. But now's the time. I'm pretty much with you on this. I like a lot of the software. None of it's like super impressive, but it would all be nice to have, especially for free.
Oh yes,
assuming
sorry,
you have a
I have
card.
to interrupt you again because I'm that
No!
guy in this podcast. It's kind of my thing, and I'm kind of trying to keep it my thing. The webcam background replacement is absolute bullshit. Software has existed
Yeah,
for like
boy,
5
back.
years to do
It
that.
has.
It's not impressive. Okay,
But it
continue.
requires RTX. No, and we're cut short, unfortunately.
Just wanted to say my stepmom bought me these.
Great. I'm
Right.
really glad
That was literally all that was for.
contributed to the stream.
Anyway,
Gosh.
shall we finish up?
Yeah,
Suppose
why
so.
not?
It's been an hour and a half. Come on.
No, it's been an hour and a half. It's been a good podcast.
Yeah, it has
You
been
can
a good
have
podcast.
a particularly like intensive discussion about a
Trains.
particularly long discussion about anything other than trains and why Nvidia is bad at marketing.
But this will be up
Oh,
tomorrow.
no, why Nvidia is good at marketing and why marketing is bad for the consumer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I will be putting this up tomorrow on the channel, so go and check that out. Share it out as much as you can, because that's what we need right now. Again,
So,
as we're always going to do, I'm going to do this every end of the stream. It's September, so don't forget, share with your friends, get them to use their Amazon Prime. And is there anything you guys...
All right.
Anything you guys would like to talk about?
No, it's cool. We're good. I think we're done here.
yeah, I think that's it.
Right. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming in. Thanks, Redstone and Obsession. I know you got in here last bit, but you can watch it all over on the channel. We may be live, or we're going to be live later, maybe with some Fallout 76 to start off with, and then we're going to Sea of Thieves. That'll be a bit of fun. As always, hope you all had a wonderful time. And anything you two want to promote?
Me?
Go and follow Delicious on Twitter, as well as go and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. www.youtube.com/.
250 subs and I'll upload again.
And there we go. Right, that's a done deal. I'm going to try and get to 250 subs.
Mm.
There you
And
go.
what about you, Agent Yoink?
Keanu Reeves, it's his birthday.
Is it actually?
Yep.
Oh, sick. Go and say happy birthday to one of the kindest people alive. Anyway.
Go and find him somewhere. I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll be around.
As always, have a wonderful evening, good day, or good night, good morning, and we'll see you later on. Ta-ra.
Is this the YouTube bit now?
No, I'm still streaming. You're not going to say bye.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Okay, bye.
I have to